Well, here are Geoffrey Boycott's thoughts on the Sydney Test so far. And Geoffrey, the match once again dominated by Alastair Cook. As a former England opener yourself, you must appreciate his efforts so far. 36 hours and 11 minutes he's been batting in this series for a tally of 766 runs. That's good numbers.
Absolutely wonderful if you're a batsman. Look, if you occupy the crease, you make runs. The kid's playing well because his footwork is better than it has been. Last year it was a bit difficult in the English summer. His foot was being planted on the line of the ball, so he's having to go around to get at the ball around his pad, and as he went around he was falling over with his head. Now once he put his foot, he's worked on it to get his foot on the next line to the ball, on the leg side, then the bat can come down and play the ball perfectly, and that means his head is upright, his eyes are focused, rather than falling over like that to get around his pad to the ball. He stood upright and playing, and he's got forward, he's got a big stride forward, he's been in excellent positions. And it's no good people saying, oh well the review system has helped him a few times. I think, you know, he's been appealed against and given out and the review system's gone for him. Look, the review system is there to get correct decisions, and they were just correct decisions. He wasn't out. It's as simple as that. Even with the no ball that he hit up in the air and was caught, the fact is it was an illegal delivery, so he wasn't out. As far as I'm concerned, lucky? I don't think so. You make your own luck, you play well. The kids played really, really well.
People do say that he doesn't have a natural technique, but he's clearly located something that really does work for him, especially after the troubles he had last summer. He's just clicked, hasn't he?
Well, it is about footwork for it to click, but look, when England first picked him and he came to India to play from a West Indies A-team tour, they picked him because he has character, which is the hallmark of the whole England team. Not that we, England, have a lot of super great players. We have some good players, but they have got character, they've got heart, they're up for the challenge, they play well together, they work well together, they like the company of their own mates. When you're like that, you know, you can go a long way, especially when you're talented as well. We don't have really great players, but we have good players who are working well together. And he's like that. He's a gutsy, determined, big-hearted lad. He's quietly confident in his own way. He might not shout it, but he's quietly confident that he can make hundreds. And he does make hundreds. He's always made hundreds for Essex as well. My memory is correct, when he was unknown and not playing Test cricket, he made 200 against Australia in a match when they came some years ago. So it's not a new thing. He's always had some ability. And the other thing about having ability is knowing where your best areas of scoring are. There are very few players in the history of the game who have been able to play every shot in the book and score all round the wickets. Most of us have had certain areas where we're really good at. And what we do is cover up the other areas. If we've got a slight weakness here and there, the clever bit is to cover that up well and use your good shots. In fact, batting's quite simple, really. Stop the good balls, hit the bad balls for runs.
Australia did think that they had a weakness to exploit outside off stump. They thought that that was the place they were going to get him out in this series, and yet he's managed well, he nicked off eventually, but he had 189 on the board already. I mean, you know, he seems to have covered up that particular weakness exceptionally well.
That's clever. That's all it is. Be clever. Be smart. Don't try and play every shot if you're not comfortable with every shot. And in fact, once you get in, once you've got 50 runs behind your name, it's easier to play a few more shots, to expand your innings. But when you first start, what he does, he plays in his areas. He's a good puller and cutter. You play short, he hits it square, he pulls anything short. Many of the pitches, except for Perth, haven't been very quick, so they haven't been able to force him into bad shots. He's been able to pull, like Andrew Strauss does. He can off drive if it's right up, but he works well off his legs, and he sticks to that. He doesn't try to hit everything.
Let's talk a bit more about those numbers that he's racked up, though, because, you know, he's racking up the sort of figures I think hadn't expected to see again in Test cricket. I mean, 1,000 first-class runs on this tour. I mean, that's something else, isn't it?
Well, I've done 1,000 runs in 1970-71 when Ray Aylward was captain, and we won the Ashes here 2-0. We played 5 tests, and we played more state games that's the good thing from my point of view. We play quite a few more state games, and I didn't make as many runs in the test matches as him. And I think I fell short of 16 runs short of Wally Hammond, who got the all-time record for a tour of Australia. But what he's done it in test matches, which is much more important, and have helped England win. That's even more. You don't want to be making runs if you can help it and you don't win, or you lose, which is even worse. You really want to be playing well, make runs, and be making a decisive contribution so that they win the matches.
His mental strength, though, is a particularly big part of his game. He got 106 runs in the English summer until he turned his form around with that century at the Oval. Since then, he's gone strength to strength, nearly 900 runs. I mean, that's a huge change of fortune, but it obviously up top as well as with the technique.
Well, it just comes back to the point. I think the selectors are saying to all the young players coming through, he's an established player now, that if you want to get in the England side, it's not enough to have ability. It's not enough to get wickets and runs. You have to have character, because character will get you through difficult situations. And for him, it must have been very, very difficult playing those test matches last year, not making a run before the Oval, wondering if he failed at the Oval, would he really get picked for Australia? There was already beginning to be question marks, doubts. Do we need a third opener? Because if we take him, can we be sure he's not going to have a situation like he did in the English summer and like Collingwood's having here? Collingwood's just made over 100 runs, that's all. He can't make a run. But he made 100. He looked good. And he's gone on from strength to strength, which is all about character. And that's what cricket is. Cricket's not just about ability, it's a character builder.
What lessons do you think Australia will take from this? I mean, they seem to have found someone in Usman.
How long have you got?
Well, another 3 or 4 minutes?
Not long enough to tell you. They've got enough problems. I think, first of all, it starts at the top with their selections. Their selections have been extremely confusing, and that doesn't help the players. The spinner, the off-spinner, he's been playing in the first team, the test team, for over 12 months, hasn't he? And then suddenly he disappeared. As soon as England arrived, they didn't pick him straight away. Bollinger's been the leading wicket taker for about 12 months. And they told him he played a match to prove his fitness. He's going to play another match before the first test to get match fit. No, you've got to rest. We need you for the test. When the first test comes around in Brisbane, they didn't pick him. So he thinks, what the hell's going on? I need to play. So he goes off to play in a state match. They're telling him he's not match fit, but it was them that told him to rest, and he gets halfway through a game against Western Australia and they call him back for Adelaide. He doesn't know whether he's coming or going, and then he's not in. He doesn't get picked the rest of the series. He's the leading wicket taker. There are a number of issues like that. Look at bringing in the left arm spinner. He's 28 years of age. Have you not seen him before he's 28? And you've suddenly dropped the off spinner and picked him. Horrocks has gone, the off spinner, and you picked a 28-year-old. That's fine if he's a world beater like Headley Verity or Wilfred Rhodes, but no. So then they finish up going for Beer, who's only played 5 matches. That's all right, picking the youngsters only played 5 state matches, provided he looks like a Shane Warne. He looks like a crackerjack, but no, when he's bowled here, he looks okay. Nice action, tall man, but more than that, would you say he's a crackerjack? Not at this moment. So it's very confusing to players, and when that starts, it's gone from bad to worse, hasn't it? And for the future of Australian cricket, they have a bit of a problem. I mean, Michael Hussey's 36, is it? The opening batsman, the left-hander who's injured, he's 35. Ponting's 36. In 3 years' time, they come to England, they're going to be 38, 39, 39. Are they still going to be playing?
What about Usman Khawaja? Here's a guy who only made 37, but a lot of people think that finally they seem to have found a guy who's got the technique and the temperament to slot in. I mean, what did you make of his first knock?
He looked okay. For a guy playing his first test match, he looked confident. You want to pick a youngster to play the first test when they're playing well. You don't want to pick them when they're scratching round for runs. I wouldn't have picked Hughes for that reason. Again, he hasn't made many runs in state cricket, and to come back after he's been dropped if you're going to bring him back, wait till he gets lots of runs. So he's cocky, he's confident, his timing's good, his form is good. At least have all those things going for him, because you know that his technique isn't the best. He's got great hand-eye coordination, lovely touch of, hitting the ball, but his footwork is pretty poor at times. And I think that was a mistake. There must be better people than that, and wait for his in good form. This kid who came in, Khawaja, looks confident, footwork's quite good. It could be, you can make it a little better, but none of us are as good when we first play as we hope to be in 2 or 3 years, when we've played more and we've learned and we've watched people. But the kid looked good. He looked to have a range of shots. His defence is good, solid, close to his body, nice stride, close to his pad. He looked good. What they've got to do is find 2 or 3 more like him.